Hey, what's up, married people and non-married people? I'm Jason. This is Renee. This is Marriage Moment. Do you know that we have non-married people that watch this?
Yeah.
In fact, I talked to one about a week ago, and she said, "Hey, do you have a copy of those books? I have some kids that are getting married, and I would like to give those as a wedding gift." And I thought, wow, what a great idea.
Yeah.
So I've ordered some more of these for that purpose. Maybe you want to give some as a gift, but I've ordered them so that when I do a wedding, I'm just going to hand these out to the couple as part of our pre-marriage counseling stuff. Anyway, we've been going through these books for about 78 weeks now in a row, and these are new books with new information based on an old set of books that are almost 20 years old, but this is brand new information. One book is for women only, one book is for men only. If you've missed the previous 12 or so videos we've made, they're on our YouTube channel. Super helpful, giving you insight into your spouse's brain and soul and heart and how they operate, because they're totally different than you. So today, you just said this one today in For Men Only. You literally just said this could be life-changing
Yeah.
if we guys would read that and understand
And
it.
understand it.
So we're going to give you the highlights. We can't just sit here and give you the whole book. You got to invest some of your own time in it. But we're going to give you some highlights of a highly interesting chapter. According to my wife, it will change your life, man. What is this chapter all about?
So, bottom line on this chapter, it's called Listening is the Solution.
What was
And you got to be a good listener. This is all about that a woman wants to feel listened to.
You want to feel like we are hearing what you're saying, and not just what you're saying, but what is behind what you're saying.
Right. And so what we're actually talking about is like when something happens and your wife is upset, something's happened at work, something's going on in a relationship, something's happening in your marriage, and she's upset and needs to figure out and process, and she wants to talk. This is when men, if they could just get just this small thing right most of the time, it would be life-changing for a marriage.
And the thing we get wrong is, correct me if I'm wrong, the thing that we get wrong is when you are telling us something, we are dead focused on what is the problem, and here's how you could fix it.
Yeah, because
Or
you're
here's
fixers.
some suggestions. So when we hear you
Yeah.
talking about a problem at work or a problem at home or anything, our brain naturally goes to, okay, here's the problem. The problem is A, B, and C, and the solution is 1, 2, 3. So we think we're hearing you when we say, well, here's what you should do. And there was a great little survey in here where they asked thousands of women, when you are needing to talk and you share a problem with your husband and he offers a solution, how does that make you feel? And only 5% of the women who responded said, well, it makes me feel great because now I know what to do. The other 95% of women who responded to that had a basic answer that says, I really don't want a solution. I don't care about a solution. Thanks for offering a solution, but that's not why I'm talking to you about this particular thing.
Right.
I'm talking to you because I need to get this out of my brain, and I need you to listen without offering a solution.
Yeah,
That's really hard.
it is
for
hard.
us. It's hard
Yeah.
for us.
It goes against everything that you're wired to
It
do.
does, which is what makes marriage hard, but
Yeah.
fulfilling when you get it right.
So that's why this is such a big, like this is a key that could unlock this communication for you together. So of course a woman has girls, their girlfriends are the ones that they mostly can talk to, and a girl that's a friend of your wife will just listen and be supportive and just help out in that way, but not really have to offer solutions. But this is not, a woman is not expecting her husband to be like one of her girlfriends.
Pause.
Okay.
Because I'm not sure that's true. I think for a lot of women, that's not true.
Okay.
I think a lot, in my experience, a lot of ladies spouses have this idea that their husband should understand them like their sister, like their mother, like their girlfriends. It's an illusion that some people live under. So one of the things a lady can do, if you're the wife, is quit expecting your husband to be one of your girlfriends.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, if you ladies, if you think that you have that expectation for your husband, that's really unfair, and we shouldn't have that expectation. But this little key that we're going to share with the guys is so helpful for a man trying to understand how to listen to his wife, because these things are going to come up. There are going to be things that you need to discuss and communicate about and listen to your wife about. And so this is huge.
It is huge. And I love what they said before you tell us how to listen. One of the things they said was, in all this research, is not only does your wife not want your solution, she doesn't need your solution. Those are two very, very big things. It's not that she doesn't value what you're saying.
No.
It's not that she doesn't value your logical brain or your solutions. It's just that when she's needing to express these things, she don't need your answers. She just needs you to listen.
Yeah.
And we make a huge mistake when we take that personal. Well,
Yeah.
I know what you could do. Why don't you just listen? Well, that's not why I'm telling you what I'm telling you.
Right.
So, help us out.
So you just touched on the first one that we were going to share on being a good listener as a man for your wife. The way that you are a good listener is understanding that she doesn't want her husband to fix the problem
Or
at
need.
first. Or need.
I find that fascinating.
Yeah, most women know already what we need to do to fix.
Because y'all are smart.
We are.
We just get to solutions differently than
Yeah.
us.
And sometimes you can share a solution, and that comes later after you've listened well. So that's important. So I think it's important in this step one of understanding why she's sharing something. And that has to do with the emotions. So the second thing in being a good listener is she wants you to focus on her feelings, not the problem. And I think that's where we get tripped up, because that's not what men do.
No, you are way more in touch with how you feel than we are. Mm-hmm. That does not come naturally for us.
And in the book, it says that men have trained themselves to cut through the emotions, get to the problem so that it can be fixed. That's just the way your brain is wired. And this is one of those things that just shows up of how different we are,
Yeah.
man and woman, as our wiring of our brain. And so we want you to focus on the feelings that we're sharing. And so for a woman, her negative feelings about a problem are the real issue.
The real problem is not the problem.
It's not the problem.
It's the way you feel about the problem.
Right.
That is fascinating.
And that's what we want you to hear.
We want you need us to hear how you're feeling about the problem, not what the actual problem is.
Right.
That's a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge. Hope you caught that, guys,
Yeah,
because that's
a big one. So number 3, the step 3 in being a good listener as a husband is to try to figure out, is this an emotional problem that we're talking about, or is this a technical problem?
So we as the man have to figure that out. What she's talking about, is this an emotional thing or a technical thing? So how in the world do we tell the difference?
Okay, so if something that they're upset about is a relationship, if it's your relationship, that is an emotional problem. Sense of self-worth for the wife, something at work, something at home that she wants to talk about, her friendships, conflicts, just in any way, and her well-being. Those things are emotional problems. If it doesn't apply to things that need to be fixed, so it's saying if it's a technical problem, then this thing about listening and hearing the feelings, it doesn't apply to that, because if it's the car is not working right.
Hey, the check engine light came on the
Yeah.
car.
We don't want you to ask how we feel
How
about
do you
that.
feel about the check engine light being on?
We actually want you to help us figure that out.
So
and
we have
fix
to
it.
use a little bit of our own emotional intelligence to see through the
Yeah.
conversation. If it's something technical, a computer problem, a car problem, a house problem, probably just go fix it.
Yeah.
But if it's a relational thing, pay attention to how she's feeling, not what the problem is.
Yeah. All right,
It's
so
big.
this is going to get really practical.
Oh boy.
So men, here's what you need to do. You ignore the problem and you focus on the feeling.
That's hard for us to ignore the problem. Just put that in the back of your brain, guys. And just pay attention to how she's feeling, and it doesn't make sense to you and you can't relate and it feels awkward and it's not something you really understand, but we're operating on the premise here that your marriage is your most important thing. And so even though it's awkward and uncomfortable and it doesn't make sense, you still have to tune in
Yeah.
and not check out.
Right. And so this one, you've got to kind of fight the urge to let them talk and then try to give them a pep talk and talk them out of their feelings. Like, you shouldn't feel that way. You really should never say that to your wife. You shouldn't feel that way.
So never say to your wife, you should not feel that way.
That's what it said in the book. And I
just
agree.
want to make sure we say that a couple times because it's really important that the guys hear that you should not say to your wife, well, just stop feeling like that.
Yeah,
you shouldn't feel like that.
We don't want you to give us a pep talk to try to get us out. We're trying to process how we're feeling, and we're sharing it with you.
I hear you.
Yeah. So when you're noticing that she wants to talk, this was so practical. It said, men, you need to give her your full attention. Remember that men are so laser focused.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're doing something else, you're watching a show, watching a sports game, working in the garage, doing something, that you need to stop when you realize she needs to talk and she's needing you to listen.
So turn the phone upside down, turn the TV off, put the book down, put the tools down, whatever you were doing, just stop.
Yeah.
You will be glad you did later.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not going to take that long. This is where it's different with if it was a girlfriend you were talking to as a woman, you might talk for hours.
Right.
We're talking, we just want to share our feelings, and it's not going to take that long usually. So give her your full attention. Sometimes it's helpful when you're being a good listener or you're practicing being a good listener to acknowledge her feelings out loud, to just say what you just heard so that she knows that you are listening and you heard what she said. That's just an easy one, to just speak it out loud, and then to affirm and sympathize, not try to talk them out or give them a pep talk, that they shouldn't be feeling that way. Those are so good.
Mm-hmm.
So this part of the chapter shared in the Bible, there is a verse that says, rejoice with those who rejoice and weep with those who weep. If you could keep that in the back of your mind, that's just a good rule in any relationship. That I don't want to pep talk. If I'm happy about something and I want to share it with you, I want you to rejoice with me. And if I'm upset about something, I want you to be upset too with me and not try to talk me out of that. So I know that seems weird to a guy, but that really is how we feel. Mm-hmm. So you mentioned this earlier, and this is a big one too, that she's not attacking you if it's a problem in the marriage or the relationship between you. Men, it's easy for men to take that personally and to feel like we're attacking you, and you want to get defensive. If you could push past that and just listen, and remember that as a woman, in our brain, for us to process, we have to talk it out. And so if we're just sharing that, we need to just listen and not feel like we're attacking you. That one's a hard one. And this one was just a little side note that maybe it would be helpful if you have a hard time listening and it's hard for you to talk, at length, when there's a happy moment that you can just talk together and maybe share what your limits are. Like, I have a hard time listening for a really long time, and I'm trying really hard. I want to be a better listener. Maybe just to share that so that she understands, you're not going to be able to do a really long marathon talk. I thought that was funny. So then it said, after you have really tried to listen Really listen to the feelings, focusing on the feelings. After that, then that might be a good time to talk about solutions together.
Right.
So that's when it's okay, because we want to hear what you have to say.
It might be helpful. This wasn't in the book. This is just me, so throw it away if you don't like it. But it might be helpful just to say, after you've listened for a while, or maybe even the next day, say something like, I've been thinking about what you said. Would you like to talk about a solution?
Yeah.
Just offer it. Don't just, here's how you fix it.
Yeah.
Offer it as an option. And she might say, oh yeah, I would like to hear what you have to think. Or, no, I got it figured out.
Yeah.
And then don't be wounded either way.
Right. I think that's a good way to do that. So bottom line on this one was that a person who listens well holds enormous power, and that when we listen to our wife, we show them how truly loved they are. It's a way that you can show love to them.
That statement that the person who listens well holds enormous power, that is so counterintuitive to our world and to our culture, because we think the one who has the spotlight or who is always talking, that's the person that has the power. But in a relationship, and not power to be lorded over or wielded, but just a significant bond is formed. And the person that listens the best is the one that makes that happen.
Yeah. It's big.
It is big.
That's it.
That's it. Mm-hmm. So if you want your lady to feel loved, one of the best ways you can make her feel loved is just to listen without offering solutions until she's ready. Here you go. Check them out. Buy one for yourself, because I'm saving these for wedding gifts now. We've given you lots of opportunities to get a freebie. If this is your first time watching, go ahead and email me. I'll send you free ones because I'm a softie. Thanks for taking the time to watch. We appreciate you. We'd love it if you would like, subscribe, and share this video. It really, really helps us, and it might help somebody else too. Bye.
Bye.